Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I have another Erika Kirk video for you because I think I found her half-sister. She never talks about her family, her sister, her father, her stepfather. She doesn't talk about anyone in her family. Maybe that's because they don't want to be in the public eye, or she has something to hide. We also keep hearing Erika say that she was raised by her mother, and that's why she's not afraid to raise her kids alone without Charlie, because she has learned from her mother how to be a single mother, which I find weird to even say that.
In August, before all this happened, he had a event where he had some donors at, and one of the first questions they asked was, God forbid if something happens to you, like what would happen next, a turning point? And Charlie made a really interesting point. He said companies, example, Apple, Macintosh, he said they're founder-led. He said, but what I have built will one day, if I'm not around, be vision-led. And he had made mention at the end, Erika will do a great job running it. And when I watched that video this week, it really put into perspective my youth and what I went through growing up and what I witnessed, my mom having her own company and being a single mother, and watching her be the blueprint of, I'm not afraid of raising my children alone because I saw my mom do that. I'm not afraid of being a CEO because I saw my mom do that. The only thing that I fear, to be fully transparent with you, is being out of the alignment of God's will, because I feel like that is a very dangerous position to be in. And so for me, growing up, when I was in New York, it was one of those moments where I really trusted God. That's where I needed to be. I prayed on it at first because originally I was living in LA, and I said, Lord, if this is where you need me to be, make it so clear. Bought a one-way ticket to New York, one suitcase. My mom was like, what are you going to do when you're there? I was like, I'll figure it out once I get there. I just know that's where the Lord needs me. And so many people questioned that. They said, you're such a strong Christian. Why would you go to such a dark city? And I said, the more that you take the light out of a dark place, the darker it gets. So that's where I'm going.
A few days after Charlie died, she said that having to raise her kids alone without Charlie isn't the most devastating thing she has to endure right now, because she's been taught how to do that by being raised by a single mother. I don't know. That's just another weird thing that she said that doesn't add up. But yeah, so she might be lying about that as well, because her parents divorced when she was allegedly 8 and not a newborn. And she might have a half-sister. So Erika has said in the past that her parents divorced shortly after her birth and that she was raised by a single mother. But court records tell a more complicated story. Documents related to her parents' separation showed that they didn't formally separate until the mid to late 90s, when Erika was already a child and not a newborn, and the divorce was finalized years later. Those same documents also list a much older individual named Tonya L. Siegrist, born in 1969, described as a child connected to the marriage. That would make her significantly older than Erika and potentially a half-sister. It's unclear which parent they share, or whether Siegrist is a maiden or married name. There's also no public evidence showing a relationship between them today. So what does this actually mean? Her family history may be more blended, and her parents' separation happened later than how it's often been described publicly. Maybe she doesn't want to remember her father because he left at some point. It doesn't matter when in her mind, but he left, and that's why she doesn't want to even acknowledge that he even existed in the early years of her life, that he was there when she was 8, 9 years old, and then he left. And this Tonya, I think this is actually her sister, and that she is the biological child of Lori Francevy, because rumors have it that she was married twice before being married to Erika Kirk's father. She had another husband after Erika Kirk's father, and I think it runs in the family, you know. I think that Erika Kirk will soon remarry, and it will probably be to JD Vance, who will divorce his Hindu wife, and then she's gonna divorce him, marry someone else. That's just my assumption, because that's how she has been taught by her mother. It's even scarier to think that she had to do something with her husband's murder so that she can enter her, I don't know, career era and become the CEO she never got to be when she was single. I have a video on her many failed jobs. She tried to be an actress, she tried to be a TV show host and a model. She tried to be everything, and she even tried to be a trad wife and a mother, but that's not going too well for her because she's out there doing everything else except looking after her kids. That's not a trad wife. That's not a conservative woman. That's not a traditional woman. She has enough money to stay at home and raise her kids. She doesn't have to work, yet she keeps working 24/7 allegedly, and maybe child protective services have been called on her. We don't know. That's just a rumor. I just uploaded a video on that, so go ahead and watch it if you're interested. What do you think? Does this lady Tonya look like Erika to you? The reason why I said she might be the biological child of Lori Francevy is because Lori has commented on one of her Facebook photos, and she said, "Oh, you're beautiful here, blah blah blah," and that's why I think she is related to her and not to Ken Francevy, Erika's father. And I cannot find any photos of her father online. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts below. Like, share, subscribe. I am new to YouTube, so I need support. And see you in my next one. Bye.